Let's take a look at this example. Again, we are going to find the derivative of this function using the definition of the derivatives. So, what we're supposed to do first? Always write the formula first. So I have dy over dx is equal limit as x approaches 0, I suppose to say delta x approaches 0, and I have f x plus delta x minus f of x over delta x. Okay, so what we're supposed to do in this case? We're supposed to simply write down limit delta x approaches 0, and now we're supposed to copy the square root 3, and instead of x we're supposed to write x plus delta x. Okay, so this is the very first thing which you're supposed to do in the numerator. So copy square, and we have 3, and because I have x plus delta x, instead of this x you're supposed to write x plus delta x minus 2 minus f of x. So you're supposed to simply copy the given function, because y is equal f of x. Okay, so I have square root and I have 3x minus 2. Okay, so I finished with the numerator, and everything I'm supposed to divide by the denominator, delta x. In order to eliminate the square roots from the numerator, we're supposed to multiply numerator and denominator of this fraction by the conjugate of the numerator. So I'm going to multiply the numerator by square root 3, and I have x plus delta x minus 2, and I'm supposed to change negative sign to positive, plus, and I have square root 3x minus 2 over the same thing, square root, and I have 3x plus delta x minus 2 plus square root 3x minus 2. Please notice that I divide by itself exactly the same value, so I multiply this fraction by 1. So I'm not going to change the value of my original fraction, I'm going to just change the way how it looks like. Please notice that right now we are dealing with the formula called the difference of squares. Okay, so let me remind you that I'm talking about the formula a squared minus b squared is equal a minus b times a plus b, right? So this is my a minus b times a plus b. Okay, so I can rewrite this as limit delta x approaches 0. So instead of writing this form, we can write this one. So it means that I have to square my a. Okay, if I'm going to square the square root, automatically square root is going to be cancelled. That's why in the numerator I can write 3, and I have x plus delta x minus 2, and I have minus, open parenthesis, 3x minus 2 over delta x times whatever I have in this denominator. So I have 3, of course I have square root, x plus delta x minus 2 plus square root 3x minus 2. Okay? So next we're supposed to organize the numerator. So I'm going to write that this is equal limit as delta x approaches 0. And in the numerator, I'm going to distribute this 3 into the parentheses, and I'm going to have 3x plus 3 delta x minus 2 minus 3x plus 2. Everything over my denominator. But instead of rewriting, right, the denominator, I'm going to just write letter D. Anytime I'm going to see D, automatically I'm thinking about, the whole denominator of this particular fraction. Okay, so next I'm supposed to organize the numerator. So I have 3x and negative 3x. Positive and negative, they're going to subtract each other. I have negative 2 and positive 2. They're going to subtract each other, right? And let's take a look what left. I have limit as delta x approaches 0, and I have 3 delta x over, let me copy down this denominator. I have delta x, open parenthesis, square root, I have 3x plus delta x, close parenthesis, minus 2, plus square root 3x minus 2, close parenthesis. I didn't close the parenthesis over here, I'm supposed to close it. So, please notice that in the numerator I have delta x, and in the denominator I have delta x multiplied to the parenthesis. So, I can cancel out these two delta x. Okay, so next I'm supposed to realize that my delta x approaches 0. So this delta x will approach 0. Okay, so let's take a look how my answer is going to look like. So I have got 3 over, and what left? I have 3x under the square root, 3x minus 2 plus square root 3x minus 2. Okay, so I can say this is equal 3 over 2 square root 3x minus 2. Okay, and this is the solution to my problem.